Hey folks, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the WinnerGear Hero. This is the same company that brought us the McFlip, which was the world's first reversible micro USB cable. They consistently bring out products through Indiegogo and Kickstarter, which are quite innovative and unique. The Hero, which retails for $150, claims to be the smallest true wireless sports earbuds. The key word here is on sports, because they aren't necessarily the smallest true wireless earbuds, but sports means that they are sweat-proof, they have some extra layers of rubber that makes them resistant to falling out if you're doing vigorous exercising or moving around, and they also offer noise cancellation by form of CVC 6.0. They offer 8mm drivers, which are pretty good for the size of these things, and there's also a built-in microphone for answering phone calls when you're moving around. Battery life per go is rated at 3 hours, but because it comes with a rechargeable case that you can pop them into when you're on the go, they extend the battery life to up to 12 hours. So that's what that part means. It comes with a few ear tips and additional accessories, including a micro USB cable for charging. Packaging here is actually pretty fancy looking. We have access to a thank you card right on top. This is the battery case, which we'll take a closer look at in a second. These are the two ear tips, and below the soft touch foam padding, there's access to the additional accessories, including spare tips if you want to get a more comfortable fit, in addition to spare wings, which catches onto the sides of your ears to prevent them from falling out, hence the sports branding, and a standard micro USB cable for charging, in addition to a thank you card that tells you how to set it up and use it for the first time. So setting these things off to the side and taking a look just at the charging case here, there is a sticker on the very bottom here, just because this is very slick. There is the WinnerGear branding, and the case itself is constructed out of aluminum, so it feels quite sturdy. I can pop this open to have access to the compartments for popping these in when you want to charge them on the go, and they stick on magnetically. The same thing goes with the end caps of the case. They will close up magnetically to prevent them from falling loose. On the other side, there's access to a micro USB port for charging the case with the earphones inside. There is a power indicator key that I can tap on to know if there's enough juice in the case. And finally, if I pop these in and close the case, tap on the power key once there, you can see they're both being charged up. That's currently red. When the LEDs turn blue and stop flashing, that means that charging has been completed. So all in all, it's pretty easy to use, and there are quite a few kind of notifications of how to set these up and to guide you through the pairing process. So like most true wireless earbuds, how you pair these with your phone is you just turn on one of these earbuds. There are dedicated power keys on the top here. You tap on this for about 4 to 5 seconds. A small LED will start to glow and strobe red and blue, and that means it's entered the pairing mode. Once it is in the pairing mode, what you do is enter your phone settings, and then you find the ear tip here, and then you tap to pair it with it. Afterwards, you can then turn on the second pair, and it will sync up with this pair automatically. So if we take a closer look at the size and do a quick comparison, we have access to other low-cost true wireless ear tips. So this is the Peak ear tips, which are arguably a little bit smaller, and they are made out of plastic though, so they're not really sports oriented. This is another popular pair. This is by QCY, and you can see that the casing here is also relatively compact and small, but again, these are meant for regular use as opposed to sports, because there aren't that many rubber accents or wings that prevent them from falling out when you're doing exercising or movement. But regardless, this is what the battery case size looks like when stacked up to these competitors. So taking a closer look at the design of these Hero earbuds, first of all, the end cap here is constructed out of a aluminum metal material, so it feels relatively well constructed, and then the contact points, including the rubber here and the base plate, are made out of plastic. The ear tips themselves just have a very straight angle, and then the wings here falls into the insides of your ear canals, and it also catches onto the kind of corners of your ears to prevent them from falling loose. Again, there are dedicated power keys located on both sides, along with LED lights and small microphones as well that will pick up your sound if you're using these for answering phone calls in the Bluetooth headset mode. These little contact pins are used for charging. So setup and the design is fairly straightforward and simple. The wings and the soft touch rubber accents can be completely removed if you aren't using them, or you're not using them from exercising. Overall, these are quite comfortable. I tried wearing them for about 3 hours, and it remained still without applying too much pressure into my ears, just because they are still quite lightweight. And and after a while I even forgot they were there, just slowly playing music in the background. So overall, comfort is very good, especially with the soft touch wings. It really prevents these from falling loose. I tried shaking my head around, I tried walking, doing some sports, and they still remained in place, which is impressive. When it came to the audio quality, they also sound solid. I would say that true wireless earphones in general, regardless of if it's Apple AirPods or a more expensive, less expensive pair, aren't going to be hi-fi or audiophile grade compared to, equally expensive wired earphones, because those deliver slightly cleaner sound and more details within the sound. But that's in general a sacrifice that you're paying for wireless earbuds. You're paying for that convenience, for that cordless experience if you are moving or doing sports activities. And they already sound quite good for this category. I would say they're rich sounding, they provide enough sound, there's not that much static, so if you listen super closely, you can't really hear that much hissing in the background, even if you pause the music or turn up the volume. So they are quite clean sounding already. The only thing I would say is there might be a split-second delay when you are listening to music versus watching movies. So if your phone is watching a YouTube clip and this is playing back the audio, the video might be moving a split second faster than the audio, which is kind of common with these Bluetooth earbuds I've seen. That's one of the only complaints. If you are consistently watching long video clips, then they might not be the perfect fit. But as long as you're listening to music, maybe sports music, maybe pop music, stuff like that, then they work quite well. As far as bass is concerned, they are present, but these are relatively small earbuds. They have relatively small drivers. There is definitely a noticeable thump in terms of drum beats if you're listening to a lower frequency, but they're definitely not bass heavy either. So all in all, these are pretty good sounding earphones, I'd say, for casual listening, for most pop music, for EDM music, stuff like that you would want to listen to when exercising and on the go. But if you are listening to, let's say, classical music, or if you want a ton of detail within the sound, then for $150, there are definitely kind of hi-fi grade earbuds that you can also find, but you lose that wireless functionality. I would say that the battery life at 3 hours is roughly accurate, and that's actually decent for true wireless earbuds. The two pairs I showed you guys earlier also came with battery life of around 3 hours or under, and it's the case that extends the battery life. The case allows the battery to be completely charged within an hour, so it's relatively quick, but you do have to take a short break between your music listening. So if you're on a plane, flying from, let's say, Seattle to New York or somewhere further, then there might be some slight pauses between, a movie or music tracks that you're listening to. Noise cancellation using CVC also works pretty well. It's not true active noise canceling, in the same sense that over-the-ear cell headphones with active cancellation have, but it does slightly reduce the background sounds, and overall the microphone here is also pretty good. I expected the sound not to be, super good because they are very small. The microphone here is very small, and obviously, you want the microphone to be as close to your mouth as possible if you're communicating or talking to someone. But they actually picked up my voice without any problems, despite the fact that the distance between my ear and my mouth was quite wide, considering the size of these earbuds. But it worked pretty well. They are also noise isolating, so if you're in outdoor environments with some background chatter, it's still going to pick up your voice without any problems. And the communication distance between this and the phone is roughly 10 meters or 33 feet, and as long as you have your phone in the pocket or somewhere close by, it's going to have no problems. It works pretty well as a Bluetooth headset for making phone calls as well. All in all, I would say that the WinnerGear Hero are a good pair of true wireless earbuds, especially if you are sports-oriented. And these are one of the only designs, I believe, that have a customizable rubber tip or silicone wing that makes them really resistant to falling loose. You can do quite a few vigorous movements, extreme movements in the air, and they will still stay in place, which is quite useful. And I believe a large demographic of users trying to pick up a true wireless earbuds would be for something that's stays in place because they want mobility and less interference when performing day-to-day activities. So this makes these a great pair. The charging case actually works surprisingly well just because everything is held into place using magnets. Everything feels well constructed. Audio quality is solid for true wireless earphones, as good as any I've tested in this category. Perhaps, again, not as great as dedicated hi-fi grade earbuds, but all in all, it sounds pretty clean sounding and, again, surprised me with how well the microphones worked for answering phone calls. So you can check out more details about these in our official written review, but for now, this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. This has been the WinnerGear Hero, and they claim to be the smallest sports-oriented true wireless earbuds.